It's the peak of the riding season for most of us, and hopefully you're out there enjoying yourselves as much as I am. During off rides, I'm usually tinkering with my bikes, getting it ready for the next adventure. So, whether you're into cross country, trail, or enduro riding, here are 5 more tips every mountain biker should know. Let's face it, crashes are part of mountain biking. During a crash, your bike is most likely to sustain damage in one of 3 main contact points: the corner of your saddle, the bar ends, and the brake levers. Of the 3, the brake levers are crucial in getting you home in one piece. So, whether you have carbon or aluminum levers, you could actually dial in some crash protection by applying the right amount of tension on the clamp so that they offer good enough support during a ride, but actually move a little bit during a crash to hopefully prevent the levers from getting ripped off. This may take some trial and error to get right, but it could hopefully save you from riding with just a single brake. If you have a SRAM Eagle drivetrain, one of the most important adjustments you can make is the B screw. For those that don't know, the B screw adjusts the distance between the upper jockey wheel and the cassette, and Eagle drivetrains can be really finicky if the distance isn't set correctly. So SRAM includes this nifty little checker tool, but the key to getting the right adjustment is to adjust it at right sag height, which means this is usually a 2-man operation. If you've got an air-equipped shock, try this tip. Start by sitting on your bike and setting the shock O-ring to the sag point. Be careful not to move the O-ring as you slowly get off the bike. Then flip the bike upside down and let the air out of the shock while slowly pushing on the rear wheel until you come across the O-ring. With any luck, your suspension will lock in place right at your sag point. Then take your Eagle adjustment tool and a permanent marker and draw in the chain ring lines to make it much easier to see. If you weren't able to get your suspension to lock in at the sag point, a light press onto the rear wheel should get you there. With the chain on the biggest ring, all you need to do is line the bottom jockey wheel to the cassette and you should be good to go. So there you have it. Now you can adjust the B screw height without the help of a friend. It's also a good idea to double check the limit screws and the cable tension after this adjustment. Setting your tire pressures is always a tricky game. Low pressures maximize grip, but come at the risk of potential rim strikes, while too much pressure will sacrifice grip and overall ride quality. If you need a good starting point, try this formula on for size. Take your full riding weight with gear and divide it by 7, then subtract 1 for the front and add 2 for the rear, and use those as your starting tire pressures. Of course, these are just starting points, so adjust accordingly to your terrain and riding style. It's also crucial to use an accurate tire pressure gauge like this Topic digital gauge, which I'll leave a link in the description below. They say the best trails are the ones that are the most accessible to you, but many of us weekend warriors like to pack up our cars and ride trails that are further out. But if you're like me, you've got a ton of other things to do in the weekends and want to ensure that your time is maximized. If you're debating whether or not to go for that long weekend ride, try this simple sanity checker on for size. So your travel time should always be less or equal to than the actual ride itself. So for instance, if I want to ride in, say, Santa Cruz, which is 1 hour each way, that means my ride should be at least 2 hours for it to be worth it. Obviously, there are edge cases, so consider this nothing more than a sanity check. I love my bike, but sometimes I hate the noises it makes, especially when it comes to chain slap. Like many bikes on the market, the chain is really close to the chainstays, especially when the bike is in the higher gears of the cassette. Virtually all bikes now include a built-in chainstay protector with the frame, but those are mostly designed to prevent paint wear rather than actually cutting down on the noise. So if you're tired of hearing your bike rattling down the trail, go to the hardware store and pick up some self-adhesive window seal. Cut them into small strips and apply them to the chainstay about 4 inches apart. So this tip was inspired by the cleverly designed chainstay guard on the brand new Specialized Stump Jumper. And if you're wondering if it works, check out this super slow motion video and see for yourself. So there you have it, 5 more tips every mountain biker should know. So let me know which one you thought was the most helpful, or perhaps the one that you disagree with in the comments below. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and remember, the trails don't get easier, you get better. We'll see you on the next one.